Hey, welcome into the week two Al Smith Alpha Insurance NWGA Friday night football scoreboard.
There you
Um,
go.
hey, if you like seeing those highlights from week one in the intro, tag us in your highlights this week, and we'll get you on for the start of the week three show next week.
I told
Joined by
Lawrence. I told
Bittenberg's
Lawrence.
Chris Napier.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I told Lawrence, there's no way I'm not putting a big man touchdown on there. And when I got that video come across, that had to be on there. Jackson White from Hurd County with the big man touchdown.
Yeah, we'll run through all the scores from tonight's action in a little bit, man. We'll let Chris give us his rundown on the Northwest Whitfield North Murray game tonight. Chris?
You got us, Chris?
Yeah, I got you. I thought you was going to go through the scores. I was waiting on you to
No, I
keep
told him
me
we would.
updated.
We'll get Chris's take first, and then we'll go through the score.
So Northwest Whitfield, they walked away with this 29-12. Now Benton the other day, last week during the Pick'em show, I think you told everybody Gavin Knuckles is going to be a dude, and you're going to see him come out and slinging around the field, and he did tonight. 3 touchdowns, 3 different receivers. And that was pretty much the deciding factor right there. Couldn't stop his passing. So Knuckles hits 3 different receivers for Northwest. They get a rushing touchdown later. Early on, North Murray had some turnovers, and right off the bat, Northwest Whitfield capitalized on one of those. That's what got the scoring started, even though it was very close at halftime, all the way up to the end of the third. I think North Murray actually had the lead 12-7 there after that. And Northwest pulled away. They just kept making plays in the passing game, and you couldn't stop Knuckles and his guys out there. And so that's how it went down. So Northwest they start the season 2-0. North Murray they're falling to 1-1, but they're going to be off next week. They've come back in the week after against LFO, so that'll be good for those two teams to play again. They played every year and since North Murray's existence until the realignment, the last realignment a couple years ago. So it'll be good to see those two schools hook back up again.
Yeah, I know. Just from seeing your feed on Twitter, just following the game that way, it looked like North Murray played them pretty well and kind of proved that last week wasn't a fluke, man. I think they're going to be a pretty strong team going forward.
Yeah, there was just some penalties and turnovers where it could have been a lot closer. But yeah, that was a bruising game right there. That was fun to watch, and there was a whole bunch of people watching. So if you were there tonight, thanks for coming out because that was awesome to see that size of a crowd. That was standing room only all the way around the whole stadium. Every seat was full, and every spot to stand was probably full. So I like seeing that. That's good.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to join us, man, and join in the comments, join us on X, Facebook, anywhere you can find us. If you're on X, you have to actually click on the video and you can comment. We'll get your comments live on the air. And Chris, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, I can't stay late. Next Friday I'll be able to join and we'll talk all kinds of football. I don't know where I'm going to be next Friday. I think North Murray's got a bye. So I'm looking for a game. So hit me on Twitter and tell me what game I should go to. And I'm probably going to show up. So find me a good one to watch next Friday.
See you, Chris.
Right, so guys, I'll see you. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll run through the scores right quick. I'm seeing some of these for the first time myself, so if I act surprised, that's why. Carrollton 35-7 over Columbia. East Paulding, man, had to be the surprise of the night, the upset of the night. Putting 43 on North Paulding, beating North Paulding 43-23. South Paulding loses Allatoona 31-29. Villa Rica an upset, 31-0 over Northgate. Oxford comes back to beat Central 56-46. Cartersville beats Rockmart 35-6. Cass with a 41-0 shutout of Model Thursday night. And another Thursday night game. Cedartown beats Berkmar 27-7. North Oconee beats Dalton 42-0. Eastside 48, 21 over Hiram. Coosa 32-0 over Southeast Whitfield. Woodstock beat Woodland last night on a Thursday night game. I think the final was 35-3. East Forsyth 38, Dawson County 7. Pickens scores late to beat Sonoraville 31-28. Daresville 31-14. Gilmer County shuts out Union County 33-0. Heritage 28-21 over LFO. Man, LFO played a great game. Here's the Gordon Lee final for you, Ron. Gordon Lee 28, Lafayette 23. Northwest Whitfield, the game Chris was talking about, beats North Murray 29-12. Armurchie over Ridgeland 13-10. Chattooga 28-0 over Coahulla Creek. Ringgold 48-7 over Murray County. North Cobb Christian hangs on to beat Darlington 14-7. Bremen 57-6 over Jordan. Pike County beats Carlson County 21-20. Heard County with a big win over South Atlanta 48-14 to go to 2-0. Temple 2-0 with a 62-8 win over Clarkston. Tryon hangs on, man, to beat Dade County 31-28. Fannin County with a big win over number 10 Raven County 28-7. Butler Gordon Central, not 100% sure on the final. I dipped out with about 6 minutes to go. It was 24-6 Butler. If you have a final on that, just throw it in the comment section. We'll get it on there. Bowden 56-7 over Macon County. Mount Zion moves to 2-0 with a 43-36 win over Ranburne, Alabama. Paulding County, North Atlanta, we couldn't find a score on. So if you have a score on that one, man, throw it in the comment section.
That's it.
Yeah, and that concludes our first run through the scores. We'll give you another one here in a few minutes. But is there anything that stands out to you?
Man, that Lafayette playing Gordon Lee.
That
I know
jumps
Gordon
off
Lee
the screen right there.
Yeah, Lafayette played a heck of a game at home against Gordon Lee. Gordon Lee, of course, had a big rival at Tryon last week. Played tough for a half, and Tryon kind of pulled away, and looked like Lafayette played them tough in a close game. What was that final again? It was
28-23.
There you go. Yeah, that was a big one there.
We'll get to some of these comments here. Jake Keller says he was at the Carrollton game until halftime. He watched the rest of the Central game at home. Central led 24-14 at half. Shootout in the second half. It sounds like it. Oxford made adjustments and put up 42 points.
Man.
Cartersville 35-6 over Rockmart, had 436 yards offense to Rockmart's 179. The Canes rushed for 236 yards to Rockmart's 96. I'm guessing Rockmart's probably glad that stretch of the schedule is over, man. Now they can just pin their ears back and play.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what they've seen, they're not going to see anything like that going forward. Not quite.
Joy Burton says 1-1 Gilmer at surprising 2-0 Pickens next week. Pickens pulling the mild upset tonight at Sonoraville. Unity Christian beat Trinity Christian 26-14 in their first ever 9-man game after winning the state championship last year in the 8-man football. Stepping it up this year, playing a little 9-man. Oh, man, this is the score I was following at the game tonight. I was thinking that Benedictine was going to win that one, but Buford comes back and pulls it out 29-28.
We got Brooks on with us.
Let's add him to the stage and see what Brooks.
I'm here, fellas. Just driving back in the pitch black.
All right. Yeah. I guess you guys can tell us about y'all's game tonight. You guys saw the same game.
Yeah, I'll just kind of sum it up on what I thought was the kind of the game clinching moments, kind of the most pivotal kind of sequence in the game. Chattooga was up 14-0. Kind of late third quarter, get it down, and Corey Gibson made an incredible tipped interception. Our young quarterback kind of forced it into coverage. Had a guy open out in the out on an out route that he probably should have thrown it to, but instead forced it over the middle. And Corey Gibson made a great play, intercepts it, and then actually he ran it back for a touchdown, but there was a penalty flag, like all the way back at the goal line on the other end of the field. A few plays later, third down play, Zayden Cook ran it for a 98-yard touchdown. So really a 14-point swing where we could have gotten it within a touchdown, and then a couple plays later, they take it to the house and go up 21-0, and really wasn't much we could do after that.
You're right, Brooks. I think on that drive, you had some things going. You ran the ball here and there, and had a couple passes hit. You were getting first downs, and I think you're right. If you punch in the end zone there, I think the game's totally different. And that's just those small things that change the course of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I said this on our radio broadcast. It was the Zayden Cook show tonight. I don't know what his final number was, but he had a 98-yard touchdown run. He had a 57-yard touchdown run, and he had a 35-yard touchdown run. And I think he had another one too that was only like maybe a 3 or 4 yard. But guy had to have over 200 yards. He had well over 200 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns tonight. He's one of the best backs I've seen in Northwest Georgia.
Yeah, I saw a post on Twitter, I think after the game, it said he had 297 yards and 4 touchdowns. That gives him right at 500 yards for the 2 games.
Now, Ben, I'm sure may know, where does that put him? Does that put him in the vicinity of a school record?
As far as yardage in the game, I'm not sure, because I've seen Norris Perry go for 200 and a quarter.
Yeah, I was thinking his name would come up.
Yeah. I think the first time we went to Altoona when they were a brand new school, Sonoris had a lot of yards early before we pulled him out.
Lester, that first game he played at Coosa, I think
right.
he went over 200. Yeah, I think he had 200 in that game as a freshman, right?
Yeah, I believe so. One stat I did see, I went back and looked.
Yeah, I'll double check.
First time Chattooga has started 2-0 with 2 shutouts in school history. I believe back in 1977 they had a tie, and then they won 3 more after that. But they've never been 2-0 with 2 shutouts. Ever.
We're gonna have to get Mr. Kennedy to come on here this year, man. Talk about the East Paulding Raiders. He's been telling me about the East Paulding Raiders all summer long. I sold them short this week, man. I gave North Paulding the win, and man, they go out and score 43 points on North Paulding tonight. I think they come to Barron Stadium in either 2 or 3 weeks. That's going to be a huge game in that region.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Mr. Kennedy, anytime you want to come on, Mr. Kennedy, just let us know, man. We'll send you a link, and you can hop on here and tell us about the Raiders.
I was just going to add a quick note about East Paulding. I know they've got some D1 talent, and one of our assistant coaches actually from the last couple of years, Coach Trevor Thomas, is down at East Paulding now, and he says there's a lot of talent down there. So and I think it's been really impressive for them to start the way that they have, considering kind of the late head coaching change. Kind of like, I think spring ball was done. There was some kind of some bad stuff that happened with that coaching exit, but I think that they've done a really good job navigating that, and look how well the team's responded.
Yeah, this is a little NWGA football history before we read the scores again. But Coach Thomas was one of the first players we ever highlighted on this app back when he was a quarterback at Pepperell, man. When him and Rockmart would have some showdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, Trevor's a good guy, man. My brother was coaching him down at Pepperell at the time, and that's where the connection came with how Coach Thomas wound up at Cahola Creek, and he is a bright young coach. I expect him to continue to do big things in his career, and he's part of that coaching staff down at East Paulding, so I'm sure he's helping them out quite a bit.
Well, Ben, you want to read the scores off to everybody?
Yeah, I throw them back up. I was just flashing them, let everybody see them on there. Jump back into the Al Smith Alpha Insurance High School Football Scoreboard. Start in the beginning with the big boys. Carrollton, 35, Columbia 7. Like you talked about just a second ago, East Paulding 43, North Paulding 23. Altoona beat South Paulding 31-29. Villa Rica with a 31-0 win over Northgate. Oxford, Alabama pulls out a 56-46 win over Central Carroll. Cartersville beats Rockmart 35-6. Last night's action, Cass beats Model 41-0. Also last night, Cedartown 27, Berkmar 7. North Oconee 42, Dalton 0. Eastside defeats Hiram 48-21. Coosa gets a big win in the first game of the year, 32-0 over Southeast Whitfield. What did you say the Woodstock-Woodland game was? I don't have the score on it.
Final was 35-3 Woodstock.
35-3 Woodstock. East Forsyth beats Dawson County 38-7. Pickens goes 2-0 and picks up a win at the Furnace 31-28 over Snorville. In last night's action, Adairsville beats Pepperell 31-14. Gilmer beats Union County 33-0. Heritage 28, Lakeview 21. Sounds like a real good game there. Gordon Lee defeats Lafayette 28-23 in a close one in Walker County. Northwest Woodfield 29, North Murray 12. Armurchie Indians, first game of the year, they get a 13-10 win over Ridgeland. The Indians of Chattooga get a 28-0 win over Cahola Creek. Ringo 48, Murray County 7. North Cobb Christian defeats Darlington 14-7. Bremen defeats Jordan 57-6. Harrelson County is defeated by Pike County 21-20. Heard County with another big win, 48-14 over South Atlanta. Temple 62-8 over Clarkson. That Temple team will be at Trine next week. Speaking of Trine holds on to beat Dade County at Magic Morgan 31-28. Fannin, I don't think we've talked about this game yet. We'll have to talk about this one. Big win over Raven County 28-7. Did we ever get the Butler Gordon Central final?
We didn't get the final, but 24-6 with about 6 minutes to go. Butler was up.
All right, we'll look for that final, but 24-6 Butler late in the game. Bowden beats Macon County 56-7. Mount Zion 43, Ranburne, Alabama 36. What about the Paulding County, North Atlanta score? Did we ever get that one in? I don't think so.
Haven't heard anything on that one yet either.
No.
I just combed through Twitter and couldn't find anything. Not even a single update from the game. So maybe somebody will send it in.
Yeah, it's funny. They're probably one of the biggest schools we follow, but they're the hardest score to find every Friday night. Paulding County. I'll just give you a little rundown of the Gordon Central game I was at tonight, man. I could tell there was a difference in the atmosphere when I showed up. I mean, kids were excited to play. It's been a couple of years since I've been out there, man, but you could tell they were pumped. Played really good defense, man. They held Butler to a bunch of 3-and-outs. Just gave up some inopportune big plays at the wrong time. One of them was on a 3rd and 26 deep in Butler territory, and they busted out a 60-yard run and set up a touchdown. But Gordon Central was right there with them, 12-6, with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And then things just started falling apart there at the end. I think they were getting tired, and the Butler team had a lot of speed, a lot of size. But I think Gordon Central is going to get a couple of wins before the season's over. I don't know when and where, but yeah, those guys are playing well.
I think Gordon Central is going to win next week.
Who? Down at Josie, right?
Long trip, but I think that's a winnable game for Gordon Central. I think.
A shout out to number 1 Matt Hammock, man. He had a heck of a game tonight. He had 2 sacks in the first half. Scored the only touchdown for Gordon Central. Huge kid. Jaden Sibley, the quarterback, man, he ran for his life tonight. He probably had well over 150 yards on the ground. They just couldn't get anything going in the pass game. I mean, he was running for his life on most plays, and the defensive secondary for Butler was just too fast, man. You had to pretty much throw bullets or they were going to knock it down.
Gotcha.
Did no kickers exist in this game? It's at 12-6. So,
Do what?
I said, did no kickers exist in this game? It was a 12-6 score.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they just went for 2 every time they scored.
Butler missed their. I think Butler went for 2 every time they scored. They must not have had a kicker, and the 1 touchdown that Gordon Central scored, they missed the kick.
While we got a second here, I wanted to call out the kids that we had the highlights of, and tell them thank you for sending their things in. Number 55, the big man touchdown was Jackson White of Hurd County. Xavier Buckner with a big one-handed catch from Mount Zion. That was courtesy of WGTV out of Mount Zion. Heritage is Cody Bryant. I think he had 4 touchdowns last week, 3 of them through there. And then Cartersville was a Darian Wilson on the nice tunnel screen that he took to the house.
Yeah, I'll tell you a game that was not on our scoreboard, that wasn't on my list last week because it wasn't on the GHSA scoreboard, was Christian Heritage versus Cherokee Christian. I can't remember what the final was. I think it was like 49-20 maybe. But Carter Triplett with 6 touchdowns for the Lions last night. 5 passing and 1 rushing touchdown.
You know,
right, we got a final from Paulding County. North Atlanta 17, Paulding County 0.
All right.
Let's see here. 17-0.
Yeah, you
Thank
said it as you
One
said
of my
it as
big
you
takeaways.
Go ahead.
I was saying one of my big takeaways from the first few weeks here. I've seen 2 different teams in person now from that single A region of 7 single. Is it 6 or 7 single A? I get them mixed up because we've got so many.
6 is the south end and 7 is the north end.
Okay, so I had it right then. Of the 7 single A region, I've seen 2 teams in person between Chattooga and Gordon Central. Christian Heritage is going to probably make some noise in that region. Actually, I've seen 3 because I saw Gordon Lee back in the spring. And then Fannin County with a huge win tonight. That region is going to be incredibly entertaining. I think there's a lot of talent in that region, and I think they might just bludgeon each other. I mean, man, it's going to be a really fun region to watch.
Yeah, how about Dade County? I mean, just a couple of series away from being 2-0.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I totally forgot about them too. Not a slight to them by any means, but yeah, that's another team you throw in the mix there. Any of those teams, I feel like, could make the playoffs. They have the talent to. Even Gordon Central, I think, has got the talent. It's just going to be learning to win and put it together for a whole season.
Coosa sitting at 1-0 now. Our Murchie's sitting at 1-0. Chattooga's 2-0. Chance Boat Night. He's the quarterback for East Paulding, I believe. 5 touchdowns tonight for the Raiders. Benton made this comment as we're going through the scores, man. How about those Rebels of Fannin County? We haven't talked about that game much, man. That was a surprise to a lot of people around the Northeast Georgia area for sure.
Not me. I picked Fannin County. I didn't think they would win by 3 touchdowns, but I did pick Fannin.
Trying to see if there's anything else that oh yeah, Jake Keller says y'all
Ben
come on
quick
down
to
to
remind us of that.
yeah. Jake Keller says y'all
Hey,
come on down.
I don't often get them right.
He says y'all come on down for the Carrollton Rome game next week, man. It's an experience if you've never been down here. That's going to be a great game next Friday night. Season opener for Rome, having to cancel their first week, due to that bus crash.
Dang, what a heck of a game to open up the season with.
Scott Buffington says Armurchie wins in a close game, flooded with penalties against both teams, more so against Armurchie, but the Indians somehow managed to stay in the game. Yeah, that's a great win going up there to Ridgeland, 13-10. I'm not sure who they have next week.
Give me 1 second, I'll tell you.
I do know there's some pretty big games setting up for next week. You have Mount Zion coming to Summerville, right?
That's 2 weeks. Sugar's on bye next week.
And you mentioned Temple going to Tryon. That'll be a good game.
Let's see. Armurchie has Cherokee Christian next week.
Yeah, Cherokee Christian team that just lost to Christian Heritage 49-20. That'll be a good tell of the tape game for the Indians.
I agree.
Sorry, GPB scores, but we do not have the Walker Utopian Academy score.
Well, I'll see if I can find it.
Kathleen Coger says that day Tryon game was a lot closer than y'all thought. Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit it, huh? I was surprised, man. Dave's played really well these 2 weeks.
I was keeping an eye on it right before the half. They'd try to throw a few passes and left some time on the clock. Tryon punched one in late to go up a couple scores, and I thought, that might end it there. And then they'd come through and come back and made it a barn burner there at the end.
Caleb, I'm not sure what the final score was, man, because I dipped out with about 6 minutes to go, and Butler had scored to go up 24-6. So I don't know what the official final was, but
I've seen nothing come across. That's what's weird.
Oh yeah, this is a game next week. How about this one? Bowden and Bremen. How do you choose, man? If you live down that south end, how do you choose between Rome, Carrollton, and Bowden and Bremen?
Well, if you're looking to choose between Bowden and Bremen, the bloodlines are deep. You've already chose. There's no decision. It's already decided for you.
Yeah, I know. You can throw the size of the schools and the records out, man, when the Daresville and Cass play. But man, I have this feeling that Cass is heads and shoulders above a lot of people this year. Really impressive Friday night against Model.
Yeah, that was a lot of points putting on Model, and Model normally Model defense is normally pretty darn stout.
I'll tell you what, man, that Cass, Cedartown, Cartersville trifecta is going to be something else this year.
Should we jump back into the scoreboard and
yeah, here's the final 24-6 final. Butler over Gordon Central. Like I said, Gordon Central played great, man. They were hanging in there 12-6 right at the end of the third quarter and gave up a couple long touchdowns in the fourth quarter, put it away. But they will be a factor in that 7A North, I think, going forward.
Oh yeah, they I believe they open region play at home against Chattooga. Be very interesting. All righty. I think that's all the scores that we were looking for. I believe that's everything. If you want to jump back in the scoreboard.
Jake, I don't know what my math guy says, but me personally, I think Tech's gonna cover 10.5 tomorrow.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you about that game. I think Florida State is talented, but they got a lot of new, and it's early in the season. You know, I agree. I think Tech keeps it within 10.5.
Here's a little Pickens County history for us. The win tonight makes head coach Greg Bennett the first Pickens County head coach to win his first 2 games since Mark Laudermilk in 1998. Only one other debuting coach at Pickens High School has done that, Jim Olis, in his only season in 1961. And Pickens has a showdown with Gilmer next Friday night. That should be a big-time game up there in the North Georgia mountains.
Here's my question: where is RJ at to talk about the Dragons? Another big win. Calling RJ out.
He must be making his way back from Sonoraville.
He probably is. Probably right. Over in that neck of the woods, there probably ain't no service. When he gets home, he might jump on.
All right, you want to run through these scores one more time?
Yeah.
For any of these people who jumped in late, and you guys can tell us what was the most surprising result that you see on this scoreboard tonight.
Let me get it up. There we go. And there you go.
All right. Carrollton moves to 2-0 with a 35-7 win over Columbia. The game we were talking about earlier. East Paulding, man, with a big upset tonight over North Paulding, 43-23. Altoona 31, South Paulding 29. Villa Rica with the upset, going to Northgate, shutting them out 31-0. Second half shootout, man. Oxford, Alabama puts up 42 second half points to beat Central 56-46. Cartersville 35-6 over Rockmart. Cass 41-0 over Model. And Cedartown beats Berkmar 27-7. North Oconee shuts out Dalton 42-0. Eastside 48-21 over Hiram. Coosa moves to 1-0 with a 32-0 shutout of Southeast Whitfield. Woodstock 42, Woodland 3. East Forsyth 38-7 over Dawson County. Pickens, what we're just talking about, moves to 2-0 with a 31-28 win over Sonoraville. Daresville 31-14 over Pepperell. Gilmer with a shutout of Union County 33-0. This is probably one of the most surprising results of the night for me, you know, when I first glanced at it. Heritage 28, LFO 21. LFO led that game 7-0 at the half. Heritage had a big week last week, so I kind of expected Heritage to have the same success this week, but the Warriors hung in there with them.
I'd say the same thing about the next game.
Yeah, Gordon Lee 28, Lafayette 23, Northwest Whitfield 29, North Murray 12. Armurchie starts the season out 1-0 with a 13-0 win at Ridgeland. Chattooga, 2 shutouts in a row, right?
Yeah, first time in school history, 2 shutout wins.
28-0 over Cohola Creek. Ringgold scored 41 points in the first half, beats Murray County 48-7. North Cobb Christian and Darlington in a close one, 14-7. Bremen opens the season with a 57-6 win over Jordan. They'll get the Bowden Red Devils next Friday night.
Congratulations.
Pike County 21-20 over Harrelson. Heard County moves to 2-0 with a 48-14 win over South Atlanta. Temple with a 62-8 win over Clarkston, and they'll head to Tryon next Friday night. And Tryon hung on late to beat Dade 31-28. Fannin County, man, knocks off number 10 Rabun County 28-7. Butler 24, Gordon Central 6. Bowden 56-7 over Macon County. I said earlier in the week I wouldn't want to be Macon County after Bowden lost week 1.
You were correct.
Mount Zion moves to 2-0, 43-36 win over Ranburne, Alabama. And Paulding County, I think North Atlanta beat Paulding County 17-0.
All right. I can fix that for the last time we go through.
I said I don't have any official stats on this, but I saw a lot of zeros on that scoreboard. We had 6 last week, and we might have had that many this week. I don't know if I've seen that many shutouts early in the season.
Yeah, I wonder what's contributing to that. Just better defense?
Maybe. Better defense, better scheduling. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, with the power rankings thing, I thought when did they start putting the power rankings out? Do they wait so many weeks, kind of like they do with college?
Well, it was kind of like Scott said last week, our stat guy, that, I mean, there was only 2 scores last week. Either you were a 0 or a 0.65. So I think after this week, you'll have a little variety. And supposedly, Scott's got his stat program working, man. So we'll have maybe a leg up when it comes to the power rankings. We'll see how it coincides with the official GHSA rankings.
That'd be awesome. That's a lot of scores to report.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I don't understand all this stuff. I barely understand how to hold this microphone, to be honest. But he's got some program where it automatically downloads all the GHS scores into a program. He don't even have to enter anything. It's just auto.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds like he needs to be a representative of the GHSA. I'm not going to say they need help, but they need help.
So, yeah, hopefully by the end of this week, man, we'll be able to give you a little idea on how the power rankings are going. Then we can compare it to the quote-unquote official numbers. We'll see if they're close. Yeah, like I said, if you want to comment, man, jump on Twitter, Facebook. We'll get your comments live on the air. We'll run through the scores one more time here shortly and wrap things up for week 2. If you saw the intro, man, you saw all the highlights we showed. Tag us in your highlights this week, and we'll pick the best 5 and get you on the week 3 show. Benton does a great job with that, man. That's our editor over there.
I appreciate those guys sending it in. I'm going to do it every week like I did this time. I'm going to call them out on their good performances. Normally if you got a highlight, you got a good performance that matches it, and we want to recognize these people. Like I said, Jackson White with a big man touchdown for Hurd County. For Mount Zion, Xavier Buckner with a big catch, courtesy of WGTV. Heritage is Cody Bryan with, I believe he had 4 touchdowns, and we showed one of the long touchdowns he had. And then Cartersville is a Darian Wilson. He probably had another big night against Rockmart tonight.
Yeah, I think just some of the stats I've seen come across Twitter tonight, the individual performance of the week has to go to Zayden Cook. 297 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough back. He's hard to bring down. He gets the extra yards, and when you give him space, makes him even better. And I mean, I think he's getting more space than he's ever got. So that's a big thing.
Brooks, we'd put you on, man, but it sounds like you traveling about 100 miles per hour.
No, I'm not. This car is kind of loud. It's an old Ford. It's an old Ford Focus hatchback, so it can be kind of loud. But no, I also had bad service for a hot second. I'm sure Benton can agree that sometimes service in very remote northwest Georgia is not always that great. So,
if I don't have my internet connection, I ain't talking to nobody where I live.
I can imagine. No, I was going to say, guy I was impressed with tonight, kind of obviously, in the game that Benton and I saw, obviously Zayden Cook was the X factor. But if there was one at all defensively that really kind of disrupted Kahola's game plan, it was that the Fife, Jaden Fife, the sophomore. That kid is massive and almost an immovable object in the center there. I mean, 6'5", 295, sophomore, and that, I think as he continues to progress and be in the system, he's got to learn to maybe play with a little lower pad level. But my gosh, he was disruptive all night.
Yeah, he's making a big impact there on the defensive line. Spells the other guys so they don't have to go both ways. And when he's in the backfield after you, from what I've seen, if he gets his hands on you, you're not going anywhere, but down to the ground.
Who do the Colts have next week, Brooks?
They play. They open region play at North Cobb Christian, so not going to get any easier. No, we got to make that trip down to Kennesaw, and I know they've got a talented sophomore quarterback, and excited to get region play started. It's kind of fun seeing some new guys, some new blood on the schedule from what I've with North Cobb Christian and Union County trickling in. So it'll be I think that'll be a unique trip. It'll almost kind of feel like a playoff game in a sense, because that's about the only time a lot of these. That's the only time I ever made a trip to Metro Atlanta playing was when it was a playoff game. So.
Yeah, you guys might have to draw straws with your fans before you go, though, man. They have a very small visitor stand over there. You might get about 25 people in over there.
Well, they can listen to me on the radio if they need to. So,
just scrolling through, looking at some of the games of interest next week. You have Pepperell traveling to Christian Heritage. Should be interesting. You have Fannin County at Union County. Of course, we've talked about Temple at Trine. Nothing bigger than Bowden at Bremen. Let's see here. Dade County will be at that Lafette team that we saw give Gordon Lee a good game tonight. Let's see, moving on up to the next classification.
Is Northwest Dalton next week, or is that the week after?
Give me 1 second. I'll tell you. I was going to run through. Let's see. 3A. Let's see.
Yeah, that's this upcoming week. Northwest of Dalton.
Check these ones. These could be some good games. Heritage at Ringgold. Adairsville at Cass. Oh, that sounds like a heck of a ball game. Gilmer at Pickens. That should be an interesting game. Like you said, Dalton at Northwest.
A lot of good rivalry games next week.
I agree.
That Northwest Dalton one is super interesting to me. I know Dalton's 0-2, but if Northwest is ever going to beat Dalton, this has got to be the year they do it. They haven't beat them in 20 years. 2004 was the last time that they beat Dalton. I played in Northwest. Historically, the program has struggled against Dalton, and Josh Robinson has never. 14 years he's been there, and he hasn't been able to get that win in the column against them. I know he wants to get that 0 off his record. This is the Bruins' chance. If they're ever going to beat them, it's got to be this year.
Well, I don't want to give my pick away, but I think it might be this year. A couple of other games interesting to see. Southeast Woodfield at Murray County. That should be an interesting game. Gordon Central is driving way down there to Josie in South Georgia. That'll be interesting. Hatfield Charter, ranked one of the top schools there, will be at Cartersville next week. Cahola Creek You have North Cobb Christian, is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to be on the road. Region play gets cranked up for
That's what
everybody,
you talked about.
Ringgold and Ringgold Murray played tonight, which was a region game. They're both non-region next week, but everybody else in 7-2A will be in region play. I think we're the first local region to get into region play because we have 9 teams. I think everybody else has either 7 or 8.
Gotcha. All righty. Who did you say? Roman Carrollton's next week. If you're looking for a game to watch, that will be a heck of a game. All right.
I was just going to add one final note on that before we wrapped up. I'm so intrigued to see how this Rome team responds to just a really unfortunate and kind of unprecedented situation for a high school football team. I think they were pretty blessed schedule wise. I doubt when they put the schedule together they intended to have this bye week to be for this type of recovery, but I think everyone's interested in that game, and I think there's going to be a lot of people rooting for that team, considering what else is going on.
If Rome was to win, would you consider that a big upset, or do you think just Rome's talented as well?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if the spread wasn't more than 16-20, probably.
It will be there's a lot of games. It'll be very interesting to see what it ends up being spread wise.
Is that at Rome or Carrollton?
Carrollton.
Yeah, at Carrollton.
Yeah, that definitely adds a bit of a home field advantage for sure. But I don't know. I mean, Rome's obviously got some talent. So, and the teams that I feel like there's been a lot of upsets already. I mean, like. I was pretty shocked by the East Paulding score. Was shocked by the Fannin County score tonight. Like, I feel like the teams that historically you would have expected to win games are not. We've kind of seen it kind of flipped on its head so far this year. So, I will.
Yeah, I think we lost Brooks again, man. You want to run through the scores one more time?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I ran those numbers in Massey, and right now it favors Carrollton 34-28.
Ooh.
Yeah, 34-28. It favors Carrollton at home. All righty, we'll add it back to the stage and bust through the scores one more time. Carrollton wins at Columbia 35-7. East Paulding beats North Paulding 43-23. Alatoona wins at home against South Paulding 31-29. Villarica beats Northgate 31-0. Oxford, Alabama comes back and beats Central 56-46. Central Carroll, that is. Cartersville beats Rockmart 35-6. And Thursday night action, Cass beat Model 41-0. Also Thursday night, Cedartown 27, Burke Marsh 7. North Oconee beats Dalton 42-0. Eastside 48, Hiram 21. Coosa 32, Southeast Woodfield 0. Woodstock 42, Woodland 3. East Forsyth 38, Dawson County 7. Pickens moves to 2-0, beating Snorville 31-28. Adairsville beats Pepperell on Thursday night 31-14. Gilmer beats Union County 33-0. Heritage beats Lakeview Fort Overthorpe 28-21. Gordon Lee beats, I guess you could say, a close rival, Lafayette 28-23. Northwest Woodfield, behind Gavin Knuckles' performance, beats North Murray 29-12. Armurchie goes 1-0, beating Ridgeland 13-10. Chattooga beats Cahola Creek 28-0. Ringgold beats Murray County 48-7. North Cobb Christian 14, Darlington 7. Bremen 57, Jordan 6. Pike County beats Haralson County 21-20. Heard County with another big win, 48-14 over South Atlanta. Temple 62, Clarkston 8. Tryon holds on to win at Dade 31-28 over Dade County. Fannin beats Rayburn County 28-7. Butler beats Gordon Central 24-6. Bowden 56, Macon County 7. Mount Zion with another win, 43-36 over Ranburne, Alabama. I corrected this score. North Atlanta 17, Paulding County 0.
All righty, man. I think that concludes our week 2 Al Smith Alpha Insurance Northwest Georgia Football High School Scoreboard.
There you go.
Thanks for joining in on a late Friday night, and we'll be back Wednesday with our Pick'em show for week 3.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna play the intro one more time for the people who missed it. See y'all next week. For all your home, auto, and life insurance needs, call Al Smith at Alpha Insurance at 706-529-6786. Al Smith and Alpha Insurance, a proud partner of Northwest Georgia football.